Happy Devils Thursday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. Episode 291. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios in beautiful New Jersey in an undisclosed location. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Tonight's title, Hey Fitzy, where's the beef? Where's the beef?
Hey, where's the beef?
Where's the beef? As the rest of the NHL contenders, playoff contenders, have bulked up in recent days. Tyler Bertuzzi gone. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm your host, Sam Wu, trying to figure this out. Why haven't the Devils beefed up? Okay, before you start saying, oh, here you are, whining again, Sam Wu. But it's a legitimate question. It is a legitimate question. And so far, trade deadline ends tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. And maybe there's a deal in the works. But the list is getting smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of Devils getting some size. The bottom six forwards or maybe on defense, getting some grit, getting some toughness. Is the rental market not working for you, Tom Fitzgerald? I'm sure he's working on it right now. But we've talked about this constantly. And here's a T-shirt from Oh My Goodness back in November. It's all about the beef-alytics, folks. It's about the beef-alytics. We talked about beef. We talked about size. We've talked about grit. We've talked about hockey grit. We've talked about tenacity. But that's what it all boils down to, folks. Beef-alytics. Because in the playoffs, it's more than just size and skill. The playoffs is a testament to how much you can do as a hockey player in all aspects of the game to just get that slight edge. It's a game of inches and probability as well that the hockey puck could take a wrong bounce, not in your favor. But I think size matters, and I think right now that's what the Devils need for this young team. They don't have to spend a lot of draft capital doing that. By the way, they did when they acquired Timo Meier. And I think Timo Meier is going to help the Devils overall, but I don't think it really addressed the top priority of this Devils team. Is at times they can be very soft. Very soft. Yes, it's an improved team from last season, but I think if Tom Fitzgerald does not pull a move by trade deadline, I think it will affect the New Jersey Devils quite a bit. And it will be a glaring problem in the playoffs. What about Max Domi? What about Tyler Bertuzzi? What about any of these guys? Tom Wilson? But they're being bought up right now. I understand that you want to get Timo Meier, which I think is a great move, but you neglected the actual need of the team. I wouldn't mind the Meyer move had they also brought in some beef. And that could be concerning. And who would you bring in? Years past, even though it's a different game now, but the Devils had Claude Lemieux. They had the crash line, which the modern-day crash line, Miles Wood, Mikey McLeod, and Nathan Bastian, they're going to need to step up their game if Tom Fitzgerald isn't able to get some added depth to the bottom six forwards and also maybe on defense. In Tom Fitzgerald's defense, it's not over yet till it's over. 3 p.m. Eastern deadline, the NHL deadline, is approaching. Less than 24 hours. We will have it all covered tomorrow after that deadline has passed. The New York Rangers have beefed it up with both skill and beef. Carolina Hurricanes making trades. Cornhole says time should have gotten Domi. Ted says Devils only 1 point behind Carolina. Devils can take over if they win the games they need to win. But we're talking about beefing up for the playoffs. Forget about positioning in the regular season, trying to claw for that top seed. The Devils need to beef up. And I'm not going to write off Tom Fitzgerald because it's way too early to speculate. But 3 p.m. Eastern will come here soon enough, and we'll find out the results of this trade deadline. Obviously, getting the biggest prize in the trade market in 2023 is Timo Meier. Kudos to Tom Fitzgerald. But I'm dying to know how he's going to round out this team and add a little bit more depth on both ends, both defense and offense. You need the beef. I'm telling you, you need the beef.
Hey, where's the beef?
And where is the beef right now? Could it be in Arizona? We've talked about Arizona possibly trading some beef. But it's more than just size, folks. It's a mental game as well that a lot of the analysts have neglected to talk about, the mental game. I know some Devils fans are hooting and hollering about Palat's contract. He hasn't done much. Well, he's been hurt. But you didn't get Palat for the regular season. You got Palat for leadership to assist the captain, Nico Hischier, a young captain, but also his veteran experience, knowing what it takes to win a Stanley Cup. Championship experience is invaluable. It's definitely invaluable. But when you're talking about the playoffs, and the Devils are going to be heading into the postseason, most likely, barring any unforeseen massive collapse, they will be in the playoffs, folks. And Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier must be protected so they can operate freely. You take away Jack Hughes, you take away Nico Hischier, you neutralize them, you're going to have problems. Dawson Mercer's been hot as of late. And that's a good question by Shane Van Sickle of the YouTube Live. Find our YouTube channel at Let's Go Devils, on Facebook at Let's Go Devils Podcast, and on Twitter at Let's Go Devils Pod. But he asked, what would you give for Tom Wilson? Good point. But the fleece himself, Tom Fitzgerald, has fleeced the Capitals before. Why can't he do it again? Go back to the well, Tommy. Go back to the well. Go back and try to get some beef for your New Jersey Devils. A pest, a player that is an agitator, I'll use that terminology. Obviously, it's different now than it was 20, 30 years ago, but if you watch the last 2 years of the playoffs, it's all about getting an edge. It's all about getting in position. It's all about the mental game. Not only do you play mind games with the opponent, but also for your teammates. The camaraderie, the chemistry amongst teammates, that's more invaluable than anything else. And you need to protect that. So I ask again, where's the beef, Fitzy? Where's the beef?
Hey, where's the beef?
Are you going to rely on Kevin Ball? Are you going to rely on Nathan Bastian, McLeod, Miles Wood to bring the beef? Ariel says, is Lucic available, Sam? I'm not sure. JP says Greenway. Think about Krause in Arizona. But give me the beef. Give us the beef. We love the beef. And we talked about it over and over and over in this podcast. The beefalytics. The beefalytics have to be there in the playoffs. Mr. Moo Guy 91 makes a good point. The point of Timo was the beef plus skill, but we need more well-rounded beef. Timo Meier is the filet mignon of the New Jersey Devils when it comes to beefalytics. But we're looking for some tougher meat in the trenches. Max says we need some 93% lean beef. Steve Engel is thinking that Nico and Jack will just have to thicken up. We shall see. And tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, the trade deadline would have surpassed. It takes a couple moments to try to filter in the last-second deals. Will Fitzy make a move to get some beef to your New Jersey Devils? How much is he willing to pay? That's a good question. And that's an honest question. Give me the beef. Just amount of player transactions in the last few days involving big players, big trades. Devils had one of the biggest trades of the year, or maybe the biggest, for Timo Meier. Devil's Ace says, can we afford Kobe beef? Oh my goodness says, the only problem with some of these guys are the hefty contracts. Keith Martin says 5-3 Ottawa ahead of the Rangers. Well, see, what the Rangers did was they did too much too soon, and they've really messed up the chemistry. Now, in their defense, it's going to take time to get themselves to mesh together. Just like the New Jersey Devils, it's going to take time for Timo Meier to adjust. Some adjust a lot quicker than others. You would hope that Timo Meier will bring a different element and not disturb the chemistry that's going on where the offense and defense as a group effort has put up a touchdown, 7 goals back-to-back is pretty impressive. Patrick Kane going to the New York Rangers, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, I'll read this article in the New York Post a couple hours ago talking about the Rangers and the league. Have you heard this story yet? I have to find the story. But headline in the New York Post saying the NHL makes crucial decision on Rangers emergency recall by Molly Walker of the New York Post. The Rangers were forced to play shorthanded for the second straight game Thursday night against the Senators after the NHL denied their emergency recall, but their cap situation is expected to impact the team for the rest of the season. According to a leaked source, the NHL found that the Rangers essentially created the emergency recall situation. Amid Lindgren's upper body injury and Keandre Miller's 3-game suspension for the spitting match penalty he earned against the Kings on Sunday, the Rangers were in a roster emergency before they traded for Patrick Kane. At that time, they had enough cap space to make a regular recall. Since the Rangers chose to address the roster emergency by adding Kane, and as a result, use all of their cap space, the league decided that the club voluntarily put itself in a man-short situation. Due to their current cap situation, the Rangers won't be able to make any regular recalls to the AHL Hartford for the rest of the season. They only will be able to summon help from Hartford under emergency protocols. An oversight by the Rangers, you would think. And that all spells very good for the New Jersey Devils, for the rest of the Eastern Conference. But the Devils must beef up and gear themselves for the playoffs for the first time in ages since 2018, led by Taylor Hall, who, by the way, Taylor Hall is on LITR. I think I read that somewhere. Pasternak signing that long-term deal. Good for the Boston Bruins. But we'll see, folks. We will see what will transpire in the next less than 24 hours. Steve Engel says, did you stay to the fan address yesterday? No, we did on Tuesday. If you go back to the archives, we did do State of the Fan address. Reading some of the comments here on the YouTube Live at Let's Go Devils. But that's what I'm going to say about that. A little tired right now after last night. Not getting to bed to 2:30 a.m. because the Devils After Dark. We'll be back tomorrow for Game Day Live and Devils After Dark, 10 p.m. Eastern start against the Vegas Golden Knights. Keep it here. We will try to break news, if possible, before the NHL trade deadline. I think Tom Fitzgerald is not well, I think he's got to make a move. It doesn't have to be a sexy move. But he's got to make a move. I don't think there's enough beef on this roster. Oh, my goodness, I see you in the chat. But I'm telling you, the T-shirt he made is great. Give me the beef. Give me the beef. We want the beef. Remember the crash line of the pass. Some other lines as well. We need some grit toughness to get through the NHL playoffs. I hope the Devils go deep for at least getting experience. But it's going to be a jacked-up capacity crowd at the Prudential Center, also known as The Rock. It's not all about height, people. It's about the size of the heart in the middle of the game. And that's what we kind of need. And I think Timo Meier, at least, will bring some pizzazz and some spike. I'm sorry, spike. But, yeah. All right, folks. Going to wrap up. Dropping the podcast at about midnight tonight. There could be a triple header Friday tomorrow. But I'll tell you, Shane Van Sickle says, call it Tom Wilson to New Jersey, 50% retained. I don't know, what can Fitzy do? But we'll see. Hello, Dave Singer, good friend of the podcast. I want to thank all those listening, making this a very popular podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audibles, Amazon Music Prime, Spotify, iHeart app. It'll be a long day tomorrow. Keep it here. Keep it real. Set your alerts, notifications. Other Let's Go Devils podcasts. Tom Fitzgerald's just going to have to figure it out. Thank you, JP, for the compliment. Same with you, Dave Singer. Could Clark end the game? Graham Clark. Are you ready for Timo time? I certainly am. It's going to be a jacked up capacity crowd. Yes, emergency Woo reports, breaking news tomorrow. If it happens, we'll do our best. I'm on the road tomorrow. Going to have my fly pack with me in my car. Hands 10-2 on the wheel, 9-3 you prefer. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.